Students, uh, I think we need to quickly go through the next paragraph of the fourth paragraph of Bees in My Backyard. We had completed the first two three, which was all about the whereabouts, the place where Mr. Bittu was living. Okay, it all about Jal Darshan and how the plants grew around his building. The surroundings were full of life. And in the coming stanzas, we come to know how he enjoyed the nature. So the line goes like this: I am never ever bored in Mumbai when there are no birds to be seen, particularly in the warmer hours of the day. I manage to entertain myself watching butterflies, beetles, spiders, grasshoppers, ants, wasps, and bees. Smack in the center of our Jal Darshan garden grew a cycad, one of the most beautiful palms I've seen. So here I am means the writer. Who is the writer? Bittu Segal. So he says he never bored in Mumbai. Why? Why he was not bored? Because even if there are no birds to be seen, particularly in the warmer hours, he used to entertain himself by watching the butterflies, beetles, spiders, grasshoppers, ants, etc. Okay, so for him, anything of the nature could entertain him. He did not want the TV, the serials, the cinemas, or the present the touch screen mobiles. He enjoyed himself with the nature by watching the butterflies, the birds, the beetles. And he also says, smack in the center of a Jal Darshan garden grew a cycad. Cycad, you may be remembering. We have in the school campus the cycad plants near our class 9A. Near the gate we have both sides we have the cycad plants. So he says these are the cycad plants are the beautiful palms he has ever seen. My lifelong regret is that I know so little of botany. So he says, my only regret is that I did not learn botany. So it is in botany we learn about the species of different plants and all about its pollination, its growth, its expansion. Everything is learned in botany. So he regrets himself for not taking interest in learning botany. Flowers came to be because plants had to entice flying creatures to courier deliver seeds through a process we now describe as pollination. You all know what is pollination, isn't it? How the seeds have been migrated from to different place for the to sprout and grow. Okay, so he says flowers came to be because plants had to entice. Why the plants are? He says why the plants are. The reason for the plants. So plants has a big role to play. That is, it entices the insects. It entices the butterflies, the beetles, and all the other insects by attracting with their color, with their smell, with their sweetness. They attract the other little insects through which, and these insects becomes the courier carriers, courier deliverers of the seeds, and that is how the pollination is taking place. I never pluck flowers, but I do touch them and I do smell them when I can. So he says, I never plucked flowers like the other people. I always enjoyed watching it from far. I used to smell it. I used to touch them, but I never plucked them. Few people know that flowers use textures to attract different kinds of insects. Don't ask me how, but flowers manage to arrange their cells in such a way as to provide visiting insects with the surfaces that feel variously like cotton, silk, wool, and velvet. Some even use a kind of oily gloss that provides their petals with a sheen that attracts insects. Butterflies smell and taste flowers with their feet. Now here he is giving an explanation how does the insects become the carriers of the seeds for pollination. So he says it is the textures that attracts the insects towards the flowers. Textures means, what do you understand by textures, children? Textures are the fabric or a feel of appearance of a surface. So it is through the textures the insects get attracted. Now he is telling flowers manage to arrange their cells in such a way as to provide visiting insects with the surfaces that feel variously like cotton, silk, wool and velvet. And he says even the structure of the flower is in such a way arranged that the insects can come and sit over their surfaces, and it attracts the insects for a it attracts the insects, which helps them for the pollination. Even use a kind of, some of the flowers use a kind of oily gloss that provides their petals with a sheen. Some of the petals have got some kind of oily surface that shines them. A sheen means it shines them, that very attractively it shines, which attracts the insects and butterflies that smell and taste flowers with their feet. I like the sound that insect wings makes. He says not only these beautiful flowers, but I also enjoy the little noises made by the insects by flipping their wings. It's a calming, hypnotic sound that is largely drowned by the roar and hum of the city. Now he is telling the wings of the insect, the sound made by the insect's wings are very hypnotic. What do you understand by hypnotic? It causes a kind of relaxation or sleepy state. So he says it's very calming, and when you are in the roar and hum of the city, the sound of the insect's wings make you calm, quieten your feeling. It is a kind of peace-giving music for the writer in the amidst the crowd, the noisy crowd of the city. One Sunday, while sitting in the garden, I heard the buzz of bees and followed several individual Apis mellifera. What is Apis mellifera? It is western honeybee, as they went about their chorus. So he started watching the honeybee, how they went about doing their chorus, means their household works. So he heard the buzz of the bees, and he started surveying the chorus being done by the honeybee. So you know this, honeybees are known for its social structure and organization. There are queens, there are laborers, how the queen instruct the laborers and the laborers bring the honey, and how the how the structure of work being done by the honeybee. Now he is giving an explanation to how these honeybees are organized themselves. So whom he watched, the western honeybees whom he watched, they were sisters stocking food for the hive. So they were collecting food for the hive. Hive is the working place. And I guessed they would be around 3 weeks old. So they seems to be 3 weeks old bees. They sucked honey using their proboscis. Proboscis means that tubular feeding, sucking organ of the insects. That long tubular form of the, which they use for sucking the honey from the birds. But they also managed to collect pollen that they would transport back to the hive in bristly basket on their hind legs. So not only the honey, they also collected the pollens, and that they would transport back to the hive. They will be bringing to the hive. How do they carry this pollen? In bristly basket on their hind legs. If you watch the honeybee, you know in the hind legs they have got a kind of brush like, okay, it's a very stiffy, hairy, brush like structure. So they used to carry the pollen through this bristly baskets of the on their hind legs. Watching the bees, I wished our own society was half as organized as theirs. So watching the bees, he realized human beings are not as organized as the honeybee. The social structure by which they live is beyond telling. So here says even the human beings are not that developed in their social structure as such that of the honeybees. We would consume less, waste less, and live much healthier lives if we follow the social structure of the bees. We would also consume less, waste less, and live much healthier lives. There is much we need to learn and emulate from nature. So he is telling we have so much to learn. Emulate means try to be equal or better than. We will live better if we start learning from the nature. We know very little, for instance, about the nature history of honeybees in the wild, despite the fact that we have domesticated them for aeons. Aeon means a very long period of time. It's a long time. Since long we had been cultivating the honey hives. Okay, we have domesticated these wild honey bees and then we are cultivating them for the honey. Yet we do not know their social structure. We know that they're all for one and one for all social strategy. So what is the social strategy of the bees? All for one and one for all. All for one and one for all. That is the social strategy of the honeybee that have helped them survive the harshest conditions. So how do they survive? Their harshest condition means their worst conditions, by living by all for one and one for all. If they do anything, it is for the common use, not for themselves. They are not selfish group. Okay, they are for the community. All for one and one for all. But why is it that bees cannot discern the color red? And he is wondering. This is a commonly known fact that the bees cannot discern the color red. Discern means recognize. They cannot become aware of the color red. Why is it that worker bees continue to work for the welfare of the colony, feeding the larvae, though they will never be able to reproduce young? And we know what is that in their honey in the hive, workers remain workers, the laborers remain laborers. They continuously work. They cannot produce. Only the queen is able to reproduce the young. How did bees learn to communicate with each other using the medium of dance? They have a special way of formation of steps, and it is the way of their dance. They communicate the message to the other laborers or the queen. Their messages are conveyed through medium of dance. Why do drones sting less and born from unfertilized eggs die after mating once with the queen? And we know once they mate with the queen, the drones die. How do bees know what to do collectively to raise or lower the temperature in their hives? So many questions, so much to know, yet so little time. So he is in a way in a wonderland to learn how beautifully these honeybees manage their life. How do they structure their society, their community, how they live for one another, and what kind of organizations they have. These all are beyond telling. He is unable to understand the mystery of these learning from the bees. It gave me an opportunity to look inwards and spend time on things we seem to have left too little time for. The sweetness of water, the softness of the breeze, the sound of birds singing, the freshness of new flowers, and the hum of busy bees. So he says, if you start looking into the nature, you have much to learn. But why at all people don't give time to learning things from the nature? Just one day while watching the honeybees, he learned so much about social living. How much more people would learn if we learn from the nature. Even he says, can't we give some time to know the sweetness of water? Why the water is sweet? Why the breeze is soft? by the sound of birds. Why does the birds sing? And how the flowers are fresh. So he says each time when you look into the nature, you learn something new. So go to the nature, learn for your life. You will be enriched more. So Bittu Segal, the environmental activist, is telling to you, dear students, to go to the nature, protect the environment, learn from the nature. Nature is the benevolent giver. All the best. Today itself, go to nature, at least watch for some time a flower, a butterfly, an insect, and learn some lessons from the nature. You have sufficient time in this lockdown. Get closer and closer to nature. All the best, students. Have a nice day.